Alright, today we're going to do something a little bit different on this channel. I've never done anything like this, but I busted out my, 10-year-old camera to do this, because it's going to be easier, I think, than using my phone. I'm going to make a video showing off my physical media collection, although it's not all my physical media. It's not my Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays, it's just strictly the games. Now, it's a pretty big collection, and this is my second attempt at this video, because the first time my memory card got full and it stopped recording and I lost a bunch of footage and I deleted the audio in a rage. So I'm starting over. All right, so let's get PlayStation out of the way first because it's the system I have the least for. I don't have any PS1 or 2 games, but I do have a lot of PS3 and 4 games. Or not a lot. I have mostly Xbox and 360 games. So let's start off with PS4. Here's the reason I got a PS4 in the first place was the Uncharted collection. That's the first 3. And then, of course, Uncharted 4. I love all 4 of those games. Obviously, if you've watched my channel at all, you'd know I love Indiana Jones. It's heavily inspired by it. So, and then I got God of War 2018. Still never played it. I want to, at some point, stream it. I actually had to sell... I did have a PS3 and a PS4 at one point, but I had to sell them both because I needed the money, so... Won't be playing those anytime soon. Remember this? Order 1886, essentially a tech demo for the PS4. Predator Hunting Grounds, the only Predator game we've had since, like Concrete Jungle? Although I don't need that version anymore because it came out on Series X. Horizon Zero Dawn. I never played these games because they just didn't seem that interesting to me. I honestly don't know why I even have it. And then here's what I have for PS3 games. Infamous. I don't think I have the second one. I just found that, I think, on eBay. Would like to at some point, if Sony got their head out of their ass and put their PS3 games on PS5, I wish they would do what Xbox does, let you play those old stuff. And then God of War Saga. That's got the first 3 games plus, that should be re-released on the PS5. The first 3 games plus Ghosts of Sparta and Chains of Olympus from the PSP. God of War Ascension. I have only played about half of the original God of War in a video, and I have not finished it, so I have to go back at some point. Killzone 3, I have 1 and 2 somewhere for PS2. Not sure where they went. Little Big Planet 2. Never touched it. Little Big Planet. Again, I'm not a PlayStation guy, so this is all stuff that's new to me. Remember this? PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale when they tried to make a Smash Bros. Game? I wish Microsoft would do the same. They got enough IPs now. And then another series I want to try. Resistance. Resistance 2. And Resistance 3. It's an IP I don't know why PlayStation doesn't bring back. Probably because Insomniac is stuck making Spider-Man and Marvel games now. I got a whopping 4 Wii games. Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings. This is the last, I think this is the last Indiana Jones game we got before Great Circle. And it's pretty bad. Dead Space Extraction. This game is actually pretty cool. It's an on-rails Dead Space game. And I actually like it a lot. It's kind of feels like the Lost Dead Space 2 sequel. Donkey Kong Country Returns. Very good on the Wii. And I'm so psyched that we're getting it on the Switch now, in a couple of weeks, actually. And then Speed Racer, the video game. This movie is a guilty pleasure of mine. And the DS game is awesome. The Wii version's not as good, but it's still pretty good. And then I got some 3DS games. We got Pokemon Ultra Moon, Pokemon Y, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. That's the game that got me back into Pokemon after I stopped playing them during Gen 5. I didn't play Black or White. And my cat's making a cameo. Mario Kart 7. The only 3DS Mario Kart to exist. Super Mario 3D Land. Probably the best Mario game on the 3DS. Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. Very good as well, but I hate the reliance on, with the trigger. It kind of hurts your hands after a while trying to use the triggers a lot. And the new version on Switch combines the Wii and the 3DS version. Metroid Samus Returns, a remake of Metroid 2, the first one that Mercury Steam made. before Dread. Dread, I think, is much better. Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. This is Smash 4 for 3DS. Okay game, not as good as Melee, obviously, or even Brawl, for that matter. And then I got some Switch games, and then the rest are going to all be Xbox and 360 games. Donkey Kong Country Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. 10-year-old game at this point. It's sad that we haven't got another one. Super Mario Odyssey. I feel like a sequel to that has to be soon with the Switch 2 coming out this year. Smash Bros. Ultimate. We're not going to see another Smash game for a long time. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Again, 10 years old. We got to have a new one around the corner. Metroid Dread, one of my favorite games of all time. I adore the 2D Metroid games, and Metroid 5 is fantastic. Super Mario... I don't even know if I've played this. Mario Party Superstars. It's pretty good. Super Mario Maker 2 is pretty good. Here's a game I streamed and never finished, and I have to because 2 and 3 remaster are coming out this year. And 4, finally, after like 15, 20 years. And that's Metroid Prime Remastered. Now, I prefer 2D Metroid, but what I've played of that is very good. Pokemon Sword. Gen 8 was kind of disappointing. And then Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, which I haven't played much of. Now, we get into the massive collection of 360 and Xbox One games. It's going to be all that. So, man, I got hiccups or something. I hope not, because I'm trying to record. All right, let's dive in. Starting with just random assortment of 360 games. Blazing Angels 2, Sacred Missions of War. That's actually in very good condition. Blazing Angels 1. One of my favorite, actually in my top 3 favorite multiplayer games of all time. Bad Company 2. Man, I'm so sad the servers are gone for that. I played it. And then I played this as well, a lot of it, Battlefield 3. Man, back when Battlefield was at the top of its game, I miss those days. It's been dead for so long. One of my favorite games ever. This is a terrible box art. I hated this when they brought this out. All the accolades on it. Arkham City. My personal favorite of the Arkham games. AVP, another game with amazing multiplayer. I think I also have a video of that on my channel. And here's one I want to replay, even though it's terrible. The infamous Aliens Colonial Marines. It's terrible, but I kind of want to play it again. Alrighty then. Let's grab some more. The classic Modern Warfare 2. A lot of these I had to rebuy because I stupidly sold a lot of them back in the day. But I'm collecting physical media again because a lot of these games are going to be hard to find eventually. Call of Duty 3, Treyarch's first Call of Duty game. Decent. Call of Duty 2. I think that was the first Call of Duty on the 360 and it kind of started it all. Call of Duty Finest Hour, which is Call of Duty 1, the Xbox port. Probably my favorite Call of Duty game, Black Ops 1. Have many, many, many hours in that back in the day. Another one of probably my top 5 games of all time, Red Dead Redemption. I mean, what is there to say that hasn't been said about that masterpiece already? And speaking of Red Dead, a game I haven't played, Red Dead Revolver, the game that came before Red Dead Redemption. I'm very curious to try that on stream at some point. I think for some reason my camera stops every 10 minutes, I think. So I'm going to have to edit this in 10-minute chunks. Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb. One of the last games we got for indie. Not the Staff of Kings was the last one. Emperor's Tomb is okay. Alright. There's so many games. And I'm just going to keep building my collection. Quake Wars Enemy Territory, or Enemy Territory Quake Wars. It's a weird game that you get a little bit more insight onto the Strogg from Quake 2 and 4. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. I only played this. This is technically 5. Yeah, the big V on there. I only played this semi-recently when MK1 came out. And then I tried to find all the Harry Potter games. Chamber of Secrets, I played the PC version back in the day when I was like probably 5 years old on PC. Goblet of Fire, I played on a stream. It's terrible. I've also played the Game Boy version. They're both terrible. Order of the Phoenix, a lot of people's favorite of the the licensed games based on the films, because it had a proper Hogwarts you can explore. Deathly Hallows Part 1, not very good. But I like to collect these licensed games anyway, even if they're bad, because they're just going to disappear at some point. We're not going to have them anymore. And then here's possibly my favorite game series of all time, of course, the classic Halo 1 for Xbox. The game that started it all for Xbox. Halo 2, of course. Obviously, I have the Master Chief Collection, but I like owning these versions. Here's, I think, still my favorite game of all time is Halo 3, mostly due to nostalgia. ODST, of course. Another excellent game. Halo Wars 1, not the definitive version, or definitive edition. I think it's the same game, just with DLC. Halo Reach, this was probably one of the last games I was just hyped beyond belief for. Halo 4, I think this is my original copy. I had to rebuy a lot of these because I sold them, but this might be my original. The Black Sheep, the redheaded stepchild of the franchise. Halo 5 Guardians. The less said about Halo 5, the better. And then, what did I do with my copy of Infinite? The hell? It's somewhere in here. I don't know what I did with it. Let's keep going. Crimson Skies High Road to Revenge. Shocked that there's not a sequel to that. Evil Dead A Fistful of Boomstick. There is, I believe, 2 other Evil Dead games I want to get at some point. Just so I have them. Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. I did make a video on this back when Hogwarts Legacy was coming out. And I think that's the last Quidditch game that existed before the new one. Captain America Super Soldier, back when we used to get movie tie-in games, but that doesn't really exist anymore. Guitar Hero. I'm trying to buy all these because these are increasingly harder to find. Aerosmith. World Tour. Van Halen. I didn't even know that one existed. Guitar Hero 2. Then here's a game I still want to try. Condemned Criminal Origins. I've never played it. And I tried to find every single Bond game. I think I got them all. Not the handheld ones, but the main console ones. So I got Nightfire. Not played it for the Xbox original. Agent Under Fire. Xbox original. Haven't played it, but I'd like to. You know what? I'll just tell you if I've played it. Not if I haven't played it, because a lot of these I haven't. I'll just keep saying that. Everything or Nothing. That's an original game based on like the Pierce Brosnan Bond. From Russia with Love. I think they even got Sean Connery to voice him in this game, which is kind of wild. GoldenEye Rogue Agent. I've played the DS version. GoldenEye 007 Reloaded. A infamously bad remake. Here's the last Bond game that we ever got before the incoming IO Interactive one. 007 Legend. It's bad. Quantum of Solace. I have played a lot of that multiplayer. And this one's, I think, criminally underrated. Bloodstone. It's an original story with Daniel Craig's Bond. It's third person. I think it's great. Here's a game I want to stream at some point. And that is Max Payne 3. It's one of the only Rockstar games I've never played, along with Bully. And I want to wait until the first 2 are remade, because they're being remade by Remedy. Or maybe I'll just play the originals and then finally play that. Here's a I think a super underrated game. Multiplayer was good. Medal of Honor, the reboot. The one that had a lot of controversy because you could play as the Taliban. The sequel, Medal of Honor Warfighter. It had the Battlefield 4 beta. This one killed the franchise. Here's a game I didn't know existed until I found it at a store randomly. And that is, and I think it's hard to find now, Hellboy, the Science of Evil. There's not that many Hellboy games. And apparently it's a Konami game, and Mike Mignola worked on it, which makes sense, the creator, but Guillermo del Toro worked on it, which is kind of cool. Far Cry 3, I've played it many times. Probably the best Far Cry game. It's fantastic. They've never evolved past that. Every single sequel has just been an iteration on that game. Here's another Insomniac game, Fuse. The failed Halo. I think there was what they wanted. Everyone wanted a Halo killer. Homefront. I adored this game when it came out. The second one's not so good. Kind of wild that it takes place in 2027, 2 years from now. It's about, I think, a North Korean war, and I remember the multiplayer being a ton of fun. It was very Battlefield-esque. Oh, there's so many games. I'm going to have to make updates to this every year. But right now, I'm not really buying any. Wolfenstein 09, another Raven Software game back when they were allowed to make non-Call of Duty games. From what I've played of that, it's excellent. It's a shame we didn't get a sequel to that. There's a bunch more Lord of the Rings games coming, but here's War in the North. I'm enjoying the hell out of what I've played so far with this. It's really cool. Quake 4, another Raven Software shooter. I wish that would go on Game Pass. Jaws Unleashed for the Xbox original. There's not many shark games besides Maneater and that. Injustice Gods Among Us. The first one, I have the second one digitally, I think. This one is strange. It kind of reminds me of the Godfather games or the Scarface game, and that's Reservoir Dogs, the game. It says go beyond the film. I love the movie, but it's just such a strange IP to make a game for. And then another licensed tie-in game that you don't get anymore, and that's Iron Man. They made a second one, but gonna be hard to find one day. I got 2 Call of Juarez games, the original and Bound by Blood. Actually, my favorite is Gunslinger. I don't have a physical copy of that, but that's the thing. Because I want to collect physical copies, and all these games could be pulled from stores. Like, I used to have a digital copy of Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale game, but they took it from me. So, just because you have a digital copy doesn't mean it's yours. They can take it at any moment. So, I have to buy a lot of my digital games that I already own. I want to buy them again physically. So, here's 2 Halo games I missed. I know I'm jumping to Xbox One, but whatever. Halo Wars 2. If you haven't played this before you play Infinite, you should. The story is actually very important to Infinite. People that jump into Infinite and haven't played it are very confused. Halo Infinite, the most recent Halo game. Kind of disappointing. Holy crap. Hold on, let's wait till we get to that. There's a lot of Star Wars games. Okay, Mortal Kombat 2009, the reboot. A much better reboot than MK1. Don't know what this disgusting stuff is on here. It looks like paint. I hope that's what it is. And I got it from a secondhand store. But this is Wolfenstein, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Tides of War. id made this, and Activision. So, I've only played a little bit of it. X3, the official game. Again, I'm trying to find all these old Marvel games that are just lost to time because of rights issues and stuff, and they can't stay on the store. Like Ultimate Alliance. And I think I have 2. Oh, look, this also includes Forza Motorsport 1. Here's an IP that's coming back this year. Turok, the 2008 reboot. And now it's being rebooted again with Origins. But I really want to play this. Because I played the original 3. Rockstar Table Tennis. Yes, I've played this, but not Bully or Max Payne 3. I know, it's crazy. Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Kind of an insane game that made them reboot because they went nuts. Gun, the rare Western game that I actually have never played and I really want to try. It looks good. Really, Gun, the Red Dead games, and the Call of Juarez games are kind of it for that. Here's a random one. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. I kind of want to get all the Pirates games and all the Transformers games because, again, this is more of an investment. It's like buying old comics. I'm investing in the future. They're going to be worth more someday. Maybe not a lot right now. Another random one, Star Trek Shattered Universe for Xbox Original. Superman Returns. This might be the last Superman game we got. I don't know. It's an EA game. Here, this is just sad. Splinter Cell Blacklist. This is the last Splinter Cell game we got in 2013. It's been 12 years. Where the hell is this franchise, Ubisoft? I know Ubisoft, you're in a really bad spot right now, but please make another one. Next up, we have... Is this Insomniac? Who made this? No, this is Raven. Yeah, this is... I think this was actually their final FPS game before they were shoved off to the Call of Duty mines forever, and that's Singularity. I really want to play this. Also, that should be on Game Pass. All the old Activision games need to go on Game Pass. It'd be really cool. Like, up-resed. If they're not going to remaster them, just up-res them, please. Make them run at higher frame rates. Secret Weapons Over Normandy. Random World War II plane Xbox game. The Beatles Rock Band. Yes, I'm trying to get all the Rock Band and all the Guitar Hero games in my collection. Rock Band 2. I'm not even sure I have Rock Band 1. Okay, here I showed you War in the North. Here's the rest of the Lord of the Rings games. Lord of the Rings Conquest. This game's really cool. It's made by Pandemic. It's basically Battlefront, the original Battlefront for Lord of the Rings. I have BFM? I don't have Battle for Middle-earth 1 and 2. Those are the only ones I don't have. Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, an original story, I think, where you make your own fellowship. It's an RPG. I haven't played any of these old Lord of the Rings games except Conquest. I got to go back and play them. Return of the King, of course. Two Towers. These are both allowed to use imagery from the films, but for some reason the first one wasn't. They didn't have any images from the movie, just artwork. Kind of weird. It's a rights thing, obviously. And then Sierra Entertainment's The Hobbit. Yeah, I'm very fascinated to try this as well. Alright, here's a crap ton of Star Wars games. And I believe this is it for 360 games. There might be one straggler in there somewhere. Star Wars Obi-Wan. I think I made a video on that. Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. I know they re-released like all these on PlayStation and Switch. They didn't really release them on Xbox. I kind of wish they would just for achievements. I know, I'm an achievement whore. I like them. But these work. You can just put these in and I think they increase the frame rate. They run it fast. They run at like 60 now, maybe even higher. Jedi Knight 2. Jedi Starfighter. Yeah, Aspire, I think, was re-releasing all these. Man, back when LucasArts existed and when they were pumping out good Star Wars games constantly. The Clone Wars. That was pre-Revenge of the Sith. Oh, one of my favorite games of all time. The original Star Wars Battlefront 2. I mean, I adore that game. And then the one before that, Battlefront. Obviously, they re-released both of them in a package not too long ago. And then here's a game I'm going to stream. I promised myself one day I'm going to stream these, even though they don't play well anymore. KOTOR. Back when BioWare was at their peak, before they were just BioWare in name only that they are now. Same thing goes with Obsidian. They kind of suck now, but this is an early Obsidian game, KOTOR 2. Would love to try both of them. Force Unleashed, the Steelbook. It's got some like collectible cards in it, but it is a Steelbook. Ultimate Sith Edition. Love that game. 2, not so much. I don't own that one. Starfighter, Special Edition. It's fine. Not anything to write home about. And then Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. It's a pretty good game. We are getting close to the end. It's almost 30-minute video. We are now in strictly Xbox One / Series X games. We got RE4, the remake. The Evil Within. Still haven't played that game, or the sequel. Evil Within 2. I've had those for a long time. I haven't played it. I bought this on the release date. So 2015. This game is 10 years old this year. It's wild. Sunset Overdrive. The last Insomniac game before they were bought by Sony, which I hate. This is the most recent game I bought on Amazon. Retro Realms, Halloween, and Ash vs. Evil Dead. I recommend it. I got it for pretty cheap with a gift card. It's 2D sprites, platforming. A lot of fun. Here's two of my favorite games of all time. Dishonored Definitive Edition. I played that originally on the 360. I love it. Dishonored 2 is even better. I hate that the first game and Death of the Outsider have got a FPS boost. They run really well. But 2, my favorite one, doesn't. It's still stuck at 30. There's no FPS boost still for that game, and it's so stupid. I wish they would get Series X enhancements. I don't know what's going on. Well, Arcane doesn't exist. Well, half of Arcane doesn't exist anymore. One of the studios. Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition. This has all the DLC. This was weird. It says Xbox One, 360. It runs on 3 generations of Xbox. Sony, why don't you do this? Why don't you let us play all your old games across generations? It's so stupid that you don't. I bought this around the time of the show when that came out. Because I've never played a Fallout game. I know. It's crazy. Doom 3. I played this around the time 2016 came out, and I wanted to know what the hype was about. Why are you sniffing the games? It's just games. You've seen these before. Relatively recent game. This game's excellent for a recent Marvel game. Guardians. I'm glad I have a physical copy because you know it'll get taken away someday. RE3, not as good as the 2 or 4 remake. Missing a lot of stuff. Speaking of the 2 remake, here's 2. Love that. This was my first Resident Evil game, was the 2 remake. I didn't stream it, and I regret it. Maybe I'll stream a replay of it. Dead Space remake. Ugh. Don't even get me started on the recent news. The fact that EA canceled the 2 remake, and presumably the 3, and they rejected Dead Space 4. Screw you, EA. Go burn in hell. Everybody wants Dead Space 4. RE Village, I think RE9 is happening this year, but I enjoyed the hell out of 8. Shadow of Mordor, I need to go back to. I never finished the final boss with Sauron. And I own a digital copy of Shadow of War, and I've never played it at all. Hey, don't get in the box. I'm trying to make a video here. Dishonored Death of the Outsider. Again, this has a... of course he's getting in the box. That one has a FPS boost. We're almost done. Crysis Remastered Trilogy. All 3. Don't make too many noises. I'm trying to film here. This is cool because Crysis 4 is happening, finally. Crytek. Here's a game that the sequel has been in development hell for a decade. Wolf Among Us, Season 1. Telltale, I don't know what you're doing. I know they made the Expanse game, but like people have been begging and waiting for Season 2 for 10 years now. It's been canceled and restarted like 3 times, I think, and re-revealed a couple times. Stop! Hey! Dying Light 1. I played 2. It was supremely disappointing. It was way too different, I think, than the first one. So I would have preferred another game like the first one. And then we have our Call of Duty slop. I don't even have all of them, but here's the beginning of the end of Call of Duty, the downfall. Arkham Knight, a game that I think is looked more fondly upon now with time than at the time. I love it because I love Scarecrow. He's my favorite Batman villain, and he was awesome in this game. AC Syndicate. This game, despite being 10 years old, just got a FPS boost from Ubisoft, so maybe I'll go back and play that now. Metro Exodus. I got into the Metro series several years ago. That one's the most recent. It's really cool. Far Cry 5 and Far Cry 4, both very similar to 3. We are down to, I think, the last 10 or so. Titanfall 1. I don't have a physical copy of 2. I need to get it, though, because Titanfall 2, I think, is a lot better than the first one. It's a very early Xbox One game. Here's a game I haven't touched yet because of what I heard about it, Andromeda. I got this for $1 because nobody likes it. But here's a game that I streamed all 3 over the past 4 years, and that's Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the first 3 games. Phenomenal, even though I don't like the ending of 3 like most people. Hopefully they can get back to their greatness with the next one, but I'm not holding out hope. Forza Horizon 3. I need to get 4 because it was taken off the store. So, Battlefield 4. Maybe a slight improvement over 3, but I played 3 more. More Wolfenstein. This was the reboot. After the 2009 reboot, they've rebooted like 3 times. Machine Games. New Order was great. I think the sequel, New Colossus, not as good. Oh my god, are you kidding me? The battery's low? Evil Dead, the game. Recent Evil Dead game. Multiplayer only, but there's some single-player missions. For some reason, I have a physical copy of this. I don't know why. Modern Warfare 3, the new one's not very good. Same thing with Battlefront, the reboot. Super disappointing. I remember being so hyped for it. I'm kind of having to go quick because my battery is low. Tales from the Borderlands, another great Telltale game that's been delisted. Lego The Hobbit. For some reason, I don't have Lego Lord of the Rings, but I love this. And the final game in this collection, Red Dead Redemption 2. Again, one of my favorite games of all time. Probably better than 1. I love them both equally. And I just want to keep growing the collection. It's just going to get bigger from here. So 30 minutes, going pretty quickly. And one day it'll probably be an hour or 2 hours. So maybe I'll make updates every year. This was the 2025 edition of my physical games collection. So let me know if what you think. Like, are there any that you would love to have or any you think I should have? Let me know in the comments. And I will see you next time for probably something more typical that I do. So until then, peace out.